I used to live 50 years of my life in dissociation from self. And this was generated by multiple factors. And I want to give you some examples of what causes us to go into dissociation besides general trauma. When, for example, I gave this example before, but coming into the world as a baby is the first traumatic experience that greets us. Usually, our dear mama is screaming in terrified pain, giving off very primal sounds and noises during the process of bringing us into the world. So there is already a vibrational energy of anxiety, fear, stress, and it just starts from there. And then usually when we're finally on this side of the portal, we get a bum slap to make us scream in our primal survival. And that's how our life starts out. We come in facing hostility and adversity right from the get-go. And then we are often emotionally neglected, physically neglected. Some experience more than neglect. A lot of children experience outright abuse, physical, sexual abuse, and so this is how the human develops in severe states of adversity, and we become shaped. Our soul becomes shaped and conformed by these environmental impacts. And as this neglect progresses, as we are subjected to emotional, verbal, physical, and sexual abuse in many cases, we take all of these things in, we blame ourselves, we guilt ourselves, we shame ourselves that we must be wrong, we must deserve this kind of treatment, that we are unlovable, that it's all our fault, that our parents have so many problems. We take on all of these emotions and feelings. And pretty soon you just don't feel well in your own skin. You don't feel well being in your own presence of conscious awareness. And our psyche dissociates from our being because we don't want to be this terrible person. We don't want to be this sinner. So we create an alternate persona. Our ego grows and kind of takes over our tasks. And but our ego is not the core self. The ego functions as a mask. It functions as a stand-in custodian, and we forget ourselves for a good portion of our life until an awakening takes place later on to call our soul out of hiding, to call our soul back into the light. And it will require a lot of shadow work and trauma work to get her back online and rehabilitate her. And it takes massive amounts of self-love and self-care, self-affirmation, self-validation. Everything that has been destroyed through trauma has to be rebuilt. And no one else can do it for us. God can't do it for us. Jesus can't do it for us. We have to do this through the recognition of our soul self as divine. That we, in fact, are the divine spark, and that we are the love that can restore our soul. We are that. We can self-restore. In fact, we have to identify as the divine self to be successful in restoring autonomy and power and love to our shadows. So it's a reconstructive process, and depending on how long and how deep you've been in trauma, your journey might take some time to get yourself completed.